20 real estate test questions related to contracts. My name is Darren. I'm a licensed mortgage and real estate broker in California, and my channel is dedicated to helping people just like you pass the real estate exam and have a great career in real estate. Let's get the studying on. Question number 1. A lease executed by a minor lessor is A, void, B, valid, C, voidable by the landlord only, D, voidable by the tenant only. Correct answer is C, voidable by the landlord only. So the lease is voidable by the minor landlord who lacks contractual capacity. Void means the contract never existed. Now, the voidable contract is enforceable only as long as the minor so chooses. Main things to know about this one, you got to know what void, valid, minor lessor mean. Question number 2, specific performance is A, agreement by all parties of a contract. B, the execution of the deed. C, a legal remedy available to either party to enforce the terms of the contract. D, a type of commission payment. Correct answer here is C, a legal remedy available to either party to enforce the terms of the contract. So specific performance is the action of a court of law to make a buyer or seller perform the obligations called for in the agreed upon contract. This question is a good example of if you just know the definitions of these words, you're going to get some free, easy points. Question number 3, seller, Sue, promised in the sales contract to have an expensive new roof put on the house before closing. At the closing table, she reduces the price instead. What can the buyer do? A, nothing. B, accept the price reduction with no other remedy. C, either answer. D, file a complaint with the MLS. Correct answer here is C. So if one party fails to perform and the failure is not excused, they have breached the contract and the other party is not required to perform. So in this scenario, the buyer basically can just accept the reduced price instead of that roof, or they can do nothing. And so filing a complaint with the MLS does not really make sense in this one, just because the MLS is related to agents and it doesn't say anything about Sue being an agent. Question number 4, in a face-to-face meeting, a farmer offers $1,500 for roofing work. The roofer says, I'll do it tomorrow. What type of contract is this? A, implied, B, executory, C, unilateral, D, express. Correct answer here is D, express. An express contract is an agreement that has been expressed in words, either spoken or written. Question number 5, can a buyer tender a personal note instead of a cash or check for a deposit? A, no, because it requires a credit report. B, yes, if the seller is fully informed and approves in writing. C, no, only negotiable funds are accepted. D, yes, but only for commercial property. Correct answer here is B, yes, if the seller is fully informed and approves in writing. So this actually happened in a recent escrow for me. My buyer wanted to drop off their earnest money deposit in the form of a cashier's check instead of send a wire. But in our purchase agreement, in the California residential purchase agreement, it typically has wire stated as the default option, and my buyer did not inform me prior to sending over our offer. So our offer was accepted, and it did state that the earnest money deposit would be sent via wire. Now, when we asked the sellers if they'd be willing to accept a cashier's check because they wanted to drop it off at the escrow office, the sellers actually said no. And per the contract, we had to do a wire. So my buyers ended up sending a wire because that was what was agreed upon in the contract. Now, if we would have written that earlier in the contract, then my buyers could have dropped off the check. Number 6, Joe receives and signs Mary's offer to buy his house and mails it to her. Is the contract binding? A, no, until Mary opens the letter. B, yes, because Joe sent it to Mary in the mail. C, yes, because Joe signed it. D, no, because it wasn't mailed. Correct answer here is B, yes, because Joe sent it to Mary in the mail. So under the mailbox rule, acceptance is effective once it is placed in the U.S. mail, even if it's not received. Question number 7. In order to record a lease, the document must be acknowledged before a proper official by the A, lessee, B, notary public, C, lessor, D, title company. Correct answer here is C, lessor. As a requisite of recording, a document must be acknowledged by the party transferring some right in real property. In this case, the lessor. I would highly recommend you know the difference between lessor and lessee. That will help you get a ton of points and you'll actually understand what the questions are asking. Question number 8. A licensee sells property to a married couple who are both 17. The contract is A, void, B, illegal, C, valid, D, voidable. Correct answer here is C, valid. Married persons under 18 are considered emancipated minors and can enter into valid contracts. Question number 9. A listing agreement is a contract between A, seller and buyer, B, agent and buyer, C, seller and brokerage/firm, D, buyer and escrow. Correct answer here is C, the seller and the brokerage firm. Okay, question number 10. A meeting of the minds refers to A, a contract closing, B, mutual understanding of property condition, C, loan underwriting approval, D, the offer and acceptance. Correct answer here is D, the offer and acceptance. Okay, so we're about halfway through the video. This is a good opportunity for you to take a quick pause, get some water, check on your notes, and get ready for the second half of the studying. And if you like these types of test questions that we're studying, you can actually buy your own whole test bank of test questions. And so I get these from a website called Calibri.com. There's a link down below. Full disclosure, it's an affiliate link. So you are supporting me and the channel, helping me make more videos like this, helping more people pass the real estate exam if you decide to buy something from that website. And I wouldn't put that link there unless I actually use their products, which I did. So I used Calibri to pass all 3 of my exams. And so I want the same for you. Okay, back to the studying. Question number 11. An offer states it will remain open for 72 hours. What's true? A, it must remain open for 72 hours. B, it may be withdrawn by the offeror at any time before acceptance. C, it becomes a contract after 24 hours. D, it is binding for both parties during that period. Correct answer here is B, may be withdrawn by the offeror at any time before the offer is accepted. Question number 12. A broker lists a storefront for rent, finds a tenant, but the owner refuses to pay the commission. What can the broker do? Go break their windows. No, don't do that. I'm just kidding. A, file a lien on the property. B, sue for specific performance. C, cancel the lease. D, file a complaint with HUD. Correct answer here, unfortunately, is only A, lien the property. So the commercial lien law allows a broker to place a lien on the commercial property to recover a commission if under contract. Question number 13. If seller Adams refuses to close the sale to buyer Williams, the buyer can A, cancel the deal. B, sue for damages only. C, sue for specific performance and for damages. D, file a new offer. Correct answer here is C, sue for specific performance and for damages. Williams may compel Adams to complete the sale and may also sue for any damages caused by the breach of contract. Question number 14. A lease where the tenant pays property taxes, insurance, and rent is called A, a gross lease, B, a ground lease, C, a percentage lease, D, a net lease. Correct answer here is net lease. So in net leases, the tenant pays for rent plus certain other expenses like taxes and insurance. Question number 15. A seller signs an exclusive right to sell listing. The seller's brother-in-law makes an offer the next day. What's true? The broker is not entitled to commission. B, the listing is automatically voided. C, the broker is entitled to a commission. D, the buyer can bypass the broker. Correct answer here is C, the broker is entitled to a commission. So in an exclusive right to sell listing, brokers earn a commission regardless of who finds the buyer. Question number 16. An offer made by buyer A is signed by seller B. What else is required for a valid contract? A. Notarization. B. Broker approval. C. Delivery of acceptance back to buyer A. D. Earnest money deposit. Correct answer here is C. Delivery of acceptance back to buyer A. So the acceptance of an offer does not constitute a contract until the acceptance has been communicated or delivered back to the buyer. Question number 17. When a seller dies during a listing agreement, the agreement A. becomes voidable. B. is enforceable by the agent. C. transfers to the heirs. D. is terminated. Correct answer here is D. is terminated. So if either the seller or broker dies, the listing agreement is kaput. It's gone. Terminated. The listing is between the broker and the seller, not the agent. What rule determines when mailed acceptance becomes legally binding? A. Delivery rule. B. Broker confirmation rule. C. Mailbox rule. D. Buyer-seller handshake rule. Well, that sounds like a cool one. Correct answer here is C. The mailbox rule. So remember, we had this one earlier. Acceptance is effective once it's placed in the U.S. mail, even if the recipient hasn't received it yet. Question number 19. The amount agreed to in advance by both parties that will serve as compensation in the event of a breach is called A. Punitive damages. B. Actual damages. C. Liquidated damages. D. Compensatory damages. Correct answer here is C. Liquidated damages. So if the parties to a contract initial the liquidated damage clause and the buyer defaults, the seller gets the deposit money. Last but not least, question number 20. Buddy makes an offer to buy a house. Seller rejects it. 24 hours later, calls back, decides Buddy's offer is good and they want to accept. What is the status of Buddy's offer? A. It is still open because Buddy didn't withdraw it. B. It was terminated when Walker first rejected it. C. It can be accepted if the agent agrees. D. It automatically reactivates if the buyer agrees verbally. Correct answer here. B. It was terminated when Walker first rejected it. So now Buddy can come back with an even lower offer or an offer that fits Buddy even better. Depends on the scenario. But this does happen, right? Sellers reject offers. Maybe it's not as strong as the market they thought. Buyers come back a little bit lower now, you know? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. So the reasoning behind this one is rejection automatically terminates the offer. So a rejected offer does not need to be formally withdrawn. Once rejected, it is no longer valid. Since I love you and I want you to pass the exam and you've stayed this long, I got an extra question for you, a bonus question. Question number 21. Which scenario best describes the process of novation? A. The seller substitutes a backup offer for a primary one. B. The buyer changes lenders before closing. C. The buyer and seller agree to substitute a new contract for a previous one. D. A tenant adds a co-tenant to a lease. Correct answer here is C. The buyer and seller agree to substitute a new contract for a previous one. So this is just a simple one. If you know the definition of novation, boom, one easy point on your real estate exam, one step closer to getting your license. So hopefully you got every single one of these questions right. You're ready for your exam and you crush it. If you need help or you have questions about real estate career, mortgage career, anything related to that, feel free to email me, Darren@realdarrensci.com. I'll see you on the next video.